How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Wednesday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today, not the least of which is last night's edition of NXT, where, amazingly, we have a new NXT Women's North American Champion, and that person is actually only 22 years old. How in God's name did this happen, you ask? Did they finally realize, my God, we got to get some young talent over? Or did the referee mess up and count 3 when it was supposed to be a 2? Well, If you answered B, you're correct. They did not finally pull the trigger on Thea Hale, as Chris Prime here says, after 4 years. No, the ref screwed up. That's the only way to get a championship on a youngster in NXT. A blatant botch. But we will talk about the NXT show here today, as well as all of the other news. Tonight is a special 3-hour edition of Dynamite. AEW Holiday Bash, Manchester, England. And we got a bunch of matches announced for the show. We thought we had the full card yesterday, but no, another match has been added. So we'll run down the entire lineup for the show here today. We have also got a ton of news, including the latest on Warner Brothers, Discovery, Paramount, Skydance, Netflix, what's going on there. We have got JD McDonough, what's up with him? John Cena and Gunther. Gunther, believe it or not, believes it's the most meaningful win of his career. I know that's hard to believe, but he does. We got updates on MVP and SmackDown numbers, which it did a great number, and it's sort of cheating. We'll tell you why when we come back from the break, and plenty more. Back in a moment, Wrestling Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We all went to the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view in the Tacoma Dome. What a dump.
They've remodeled in the last 5 years.
I don't want to watch a show in the Tacoma Dome. I'm over that part of my life.
So this is all about
It is all about me. It's my show.
Yep.
Sick of these crappy dumps.
Rico. Yes. Rico Constantino.
Mm-hmm.
When Rico Constantino showed up on the screen, I almost fainted.
If you would have slapped me with a bass, I would have been less surprised.
A bass,
Yeah.
you say?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Now, you mean the fish
Yes.
or like a bass, the instrument?
No, a bass.
Well, he would have said a bass if he meant a bass.
Shibata hooks a rear naked choke, and Shibata's shoulders were down, and the referee counted 3.
I don't care what happened in Florida in 1973.
That is an Eddie Graham babyface finish when he wanted a heel to get a fluke win.
The crowd hated it.
Hated it.
You know, people are upset that Adam Cole's back as a babyface or whatever.
Why?
But, dude, he's been gone for a year. So they obviously want to do Adam Cole and MJF. MJF is a heel.
Mhm.
So obviously Adam Cole is coming back as a babyface.
Yes. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. My rating for this match was 1 zillion stars. I believe this may be my new favorite 3-way ever. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
You have
Not
to
a
say it in
fun
such a
match.
sad way.
Yes! It was sad. It was a sad match.
Mhm.
That's it, before we even get to the post-match. The whole thing, start to finish, was sad. It was meant to bum you, the fans, out.
It worked.
It worked. It elicited emotions, which is what art is supposed to do.
It was very much like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when Undertaker retired him, and like that's exactly what happened, is everyone just slowly stood up and quietly, sadly walked out of the building that night.
There was one gentleman that was walking by us, and he was dripping in Bryan Danielson's merchandise.
Hmm.
And he was wailing, and he cried, forget my language, I can't believe they punked out my favorite wrestler like a bitch. And he was so
Wow.
upset.
And we go into that press conference. All I got to say about Don Callis is, man, I can't help but notice he's got a big mouth when he's got Takeshita right next to him, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That was a scintillating question. And I think maybe after that, we're finally, the Bryan and Vinny show might actually just be the Bryan show. That was producer Rob level stuff right there. Need to work on your game a little bit. Okay. Next.
Rob's so excited and happy now. He texted me today. So it looks like I'm feuding with Don Callis. Ha ha. That's what he texted me.
That's not the way I took it at all. I looked at his wiener, and now he's mad at me. Duh.
Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. We got a lot to talk about. What's going on, Filthy?
Nothing
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things.
I woke up with
small
no
scheme
voice.
of things. I was just watching some BJJ. So
Well, if I have to, if you have to take over for me, just be ready.
you sound awful.
Dude, I woke up this morning, I couldn't even talk. So it's been a vast improvement from when I woke up this morning. It was weird.
It depends who you ask.
And then I got 3 shows today, so I gotta save my voice. Well, let's talk about, I see there's already the argument in the chat here about how, blah, blah, blah. So, we finally got a championship belt on someone who was only 22 years old in NXT. And it took a botch to get us there. Last night, it was Blake Monroe versus Thea Hale for the Women's North American title. And they're doing this match, and the match actually, believe it or not, went almost exactly as long as it was supposed to go. So they didn't have to cut any time. The finish was apparently going to come shortly after what they actually did. So Thea starts making this big comeback, and she hits a flip senton, hits a springboard senton off the ropes, squishes Blake Monroe, gets in position, covers her. The ref counts 1. The ref counts 2. The ref, he holds up for the most split of split seconds because she's not lifting her shoulder, and he counts 3. Blake's been pinned, and there's just a silence when she gets the pin. There's no music. There's no bell. There's just silence for a second. And then Thea Hale says, "What?" And the referee goes, and he goes like this, and they ring the bell. And Thea goes, "What? I just won?" And she starts celebrating. And then they play Blake's music. But then they realize, oops, wrong person. Because, of course, Blake was supposed to win. They shut the music off. And then they play Thea's music. And Thea celebrates with the title. And, oh my God.
And Mike Rome announces her as the new NXT Women's Champion.
New NXT Women's Champion. Yeah, he was also confused. And
she's crying.
She's
running around the ring, celebrating.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Now, for those of you who are not athletes who are listening, you may not be aware that you do not need to be hit in the head to have a concussion. You can be concussed from your organs being rattled. You can be concussed from, hitting an object with your body. And I would imagine in this case, that's exactly what happened to Blake Monroe. She got the wind knocked out of her. She was rocked from Thea Hale. Despite being probably 100 pounds, she put about 1,000 pounds of force into that senton. And she also made a great cover. She hooked the head, she grabbed the leg, and it didn't appear like she had any intention of letting Blake Monroe kick out of that.
Well, hey, you got to kick out, bro. You know the funniest thing about this story is, which just astounds me. So, the plan was for Thea to lose. Okay? So apparently they have some plan built around her not winning this match, okay? I don't know what the plan was, but they had something that they had planned, and it necessitated her not winning, all right? Well, she accidentally won. So I was thinking about this. And clearly the idea is not to bury Thea Hale, okay? They had a plan that involved her losing this match, right? So that tells me that they had a plan that involved her losing, which I guess as part of their plan was going to get her over. Because that's the only thing they know how to do now is you have to lose and lose and lose and lose and lose and lose, and that's what gets you over. Well, what's funny is it didn't work because she accidentally won. Did you guys see the audience reaction when Thea Hale won this match? As soon as they figured out that she actually won, the entire building, and granted, it's not a lot of people, but like everyone there, everyone in the building stood up on their feet and they gave her a standing ovation. And they went crazy for her. And they're cheering, and they're, yeah! And she's running around like a maniac. I was watching this going, she's more over right now than she's ever been. And she didn't get over like this because she like lost a bunch of matches, whatever their stupid plan was. She won, and she got over. Because the easiest way to actually get a person over is to win. But we've forgotten how to do that. Now, if we want to get you over, we got to beat you and beat you and beat you. That's what's going to actually get you over. That's what they think. But we just saw it with our own eyes. She won a match she wasn't supposed to win. And in winning, the entire place just like went absolutely crazy. I'm sure they're already trying to figure out how to get the belt off her. You know, because that's what they do. But this business is so messed up. It's so messed up. So anyway, she's the new champion for the week. We'll see what happens next week. But that was the big story for Tuesday. Thea Hale winning the Women's North American title on accident when Blake Monroe got the wind knocked out of her and didn't kick out. So there you go.
That should be our new finish.
Accidentally knocking the wind out of our opponent so we can actually win. You know, the chop and rolls probably would be like a hot act on the Indies if we ever actually won. Too bad we lost all those matches.
Will you quit holding on to old times?
It's all I have. It's all I have left. Some memories of the good old days. Tonight we've got AEW Holiday Bash. Manchester, England. 3 hours of AEW Dynamite. Are you ready for this, Tom? Are you going to watch all 3 hours?
Yeah, probably.
You sound really excited. It's a hot card, dude. There's a lot of big matches.
I do love some big, meaty Manchester.
Excuse me. The Elite. Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson will face Okada, Takeshita, and Hechicero. $1 million on the line to the winner. We have the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. The likely return of MJF. Dax and Cash against Juice and Austin Gunn, the Bang Bang Gang. We got Pac and Kyle Fletcher in a Gold League match, which should be great. John Moxley and Roderick Strong in a Blue League match, which should be great. Orange Cassidy and Mascara Dorada in a Continental Classic match, which should be great. Samoa Joe, Hangman, and Swerve will do a contract signing. We've got the women's 8-person. Mercedes, Athena, Marina, and Megan against Willow, Harley, Tony, and Mina. And we got another one here, everybody. Jamie Hayter versus Isla Dawn added to the show.
Wow. Did you happen to catch the return of AEW Dark?
I didn't catch it. Was it good?
I did.
People liked it, it seems.
Hey, good 30 minutes, succinct 30 minutes of wrestling with big stars up and down the card. You mentioned many of them. Isla Dawn was actually on the show in the opening match. They set up some of these Continental Classic matches as Mascara Dorada teamed with Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong. And then they had the Death Riders in the main event, where the Death Riders were undoubtedly the baby faces to this crowd in, where were they, Cardiff, Wales last week?
Yes. Who they wrestled?
They were the big-time baby faces. They wrestled the Grizzled Young Vets and Nathan Cruz, but the crowd was there wanting Moxley. We want Moxley.
Yeah. This guy's a babyface now. He's on his way. So the show is only 30 minutes?
31 minutes.
I thought Dark used to be like 3 hours or something.
Well, special holiday stocking stuffer edition.
Wow. That sounds really exciting. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sit and
I got that one
me?
down.
kick my
Sounds like
feet.
my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay.
What's the best part of having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How do you have that so quickly?
Ridiculously fast answer.
You've
That's
thought
it.
about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze. Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody, goody.
Goody goody, she says. The news of you having a
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one. Because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit.
Eminem?
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment. Granny reads rapper names. That's
Eminem.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan Adams.
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Alive. Filthy Tom is joining us here today. The Warner Brothers Discovery Board declined the $108 billion bid from Paramount Skydance. They will be moving forward with Netflix's initial offer for part of the company instead. And of course, we talked about this.
Whoa.
What?
It's big news.
It is, but I mean,
There's still more.
honestly, it's
More to
not.
come.
It's not surprising in the sense that I forget the exact numbers, but basically, Netflix wants everything but they don't want the television stations.
Well, yeah, the way we talked about it, they severely undervalued
Yeah.
the other portion of the product, which
they were offering like $3 billion or some chump change for all of the television stations. Like, yeah, they were offering more money, but they were offering more money for the entire package as opposed to less money for just part of the package. And when you looked at it, when you actually read what they were offering, it really didn't make any sense to give away the television side for so little. So WBD felt the deal offered by Paramount, quote, is not in the best interests of WBD and its shareholders, does not meet the criteria of a, quote, superior proposal under the terms of WBD's merger agreement with Netflix announced on December 5th. So basically what they're saying is when they made the agreement with Netflix, there was I guess there must have been a criteria where, if there is a superior proposal, we can take that even though we've agreed to go to Netflix. And they did not consider this a superior proposal, probably because they were offering so little for the television stations. So the Warner Brothers Discovery Board unanimously reiterated its recommendation in support of the Netflix combination and recommend WBD shareholders reject Paramount Skydance's offer. And Paramount stated later they will go no higher than their offer. So it looks like that is off the table. So there you go. Looks like they're going to Netflix. Although there's still a lot to be done to make sure that actually... The one hurdle is in the way, which is a different bid. But as far as actually getting this deal done and getting it, I guess from the regulatory side, getting approved, that will be coming up next. But I do not expect anything happening imminently. So again, how this affects AEW we'll know several years down the road, would be my guess.
You think Paramount's going to take John Cena's advice?
Just quit?
Never give up?
No, they're just going to quit.
They're just quit?
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what they said, dude. They pretty much said, we will go no higher than that offer. So, like John Cena, like the great John Cena, they just gave up. And now it will go to Netflix. Every day that goes by, I can't believe that John Cena just gave up at the end. It's astounding.
It would have been we talked about if Tanahashi throws down the air guitar, or if they told us, hey, guess what? Andre wasn't really a giant.
I'm trying to think of I can't even think of a good who else has had a 20-year gimmick?
Hulk Hogan was born out of the country.
Yeah, it turned out he's not a real American on his last day. He admits he's from Canada or something. I guess it'd be something like that.
Jimmy Hart was born in the North.
But these are all different guys because even if you found out at the end of Hulk Hogan's career, in his final match, how about this, okay? Imagine this. Hulk Hogan's last match is with Gunther, okay? And they're going to do a flag match. So it's going to be there's the American flag in one corner and there's the Austrian flag or whatever in the other corner. And then Hulk Hogan manages to hit the leg drop of doom and win. But then he goes into the ring and gets a Canadian flag and he waves the Canadian flag and realizes, and we figure out it's been a lie all along. He's a Canadian.
At least that's one of our allies.
But I mean, the point of this is that's a lie. But at the end of the day, what difference? Really, what difference does it make if it turns out he's not really a real American? Whereas with John Cena, it's I don't even want to talk about it because there were so many real life things, people that were really ill and stuff like that, where John Cena told him never give up, and then at the end of the day it was give up. And then did you see the other one? So I guess this must have been Bubba Ray on Busted Open or something. He says, you know what this was? He was Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. When him and Darth Vader are doing the lightsaber battle.
I know nothing about Star Wars.
Okay, well, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You don't need to describe it.
But anyway, they're doing the battle or whatever, and the hero runs by and he sees old Ben winning the sword fight, and Obi-Wan looks at Luke, and he smiles, and he lets Darth Vader cut him in half, because once he gets cut in half, he becomes like a Force ghost or whatever, and he could do magic or some gobbledygook. But the point is, Bubba's like, that's what John Cena did. He was Obi-Wan Kenobi. He smiled. And I'm like, well, first off, who's Luke? There is no Luke in this story, so you already messed the whole story up. And number two, even if that is what you were doing, like, he could have smiled and then gone to sleep. Not
Or,
quit.
you know, I thought about this as well because got way too much free time in my hands. But they could have had John Cena look like he was going to tap, have the hand, and then he passes out and the hand falls on Gunther's arm. And then you have Gunther with the plausible deniability that, yes, he did indeed make him tap, despite John Cena only hitting his arm by passing out. It would have been an easy fix.
God. Just such a stupid finish. It's like,
Can you put it more in Star Trek terms for me?
do you realize that Jeff Jarrett,
Who's Worf?
Jeff who? Jeff Jarrett said, that's the worst finish I've ever seen in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah,
you know how
that's
many
not
years that
true.
guy worked with Vince Russo? That guy said that was the worst ending he'd ever seen in professional wrestling.
No. Remember when John Moxley lost because the TV exploded?
This is
That
worse
was
than
horrible.
that.
No.
No, this is worse than that. This is worse than that. You just killed your entire gimmick after 20 years. Everything you stood for, everything that everybody believed in about you. At the end of the day, you were like, I was full of it the whole time. I just quit in the end. Then people were like, well, dude, never give up means never. His catchphrase was not only give up when the going gets tough. It was never give up. You guys know how long never is? Never is not 20 years and then you get caught in a sleeper. Never is never. Never. But he did. He was a liar. Everyone should get their money back for those shirts. You know how much money? Golly. TKA could probably afford it.
Good luck. Good luck getting it back from him.
They sold everybody a
see
bill
him.
of goods on that guy. This Mr. Never Give Up. And then, like, someday people are going to look back and they're going to realize how stupid this is. Wait a second. You're telling me Mr. Never Give Up in his last match, he gave up? That's how his career ended? Yeah. They thought that was a good idea. And then they were blindsided when people didn't like it. What? Yeah. Imagine explaining that to an alien race. Anyway, JD McDonough's recovering. That's good news. He didn't give up. He got his surgery and he's on his road to recovery. That guy should be the new John Cena. Finn Balor confirmed he's in good spirits and he's going to make a full recovery. That's good. Then Gunther did a promo. What I like about Gunther is he's just an honest man. He's not like John Cena. He's an honest man who just says that was the most important win of my entire career, the most significant moment. And then he said, for all of you that are sad about the ending, stop crying. Life goes on. He's right. That guy's the babyface in this story.
I told you that. I
Yeah.
told you he was the one that never gave up.
It's true. He did. He
I
never
mean,
gave up.
He gave up initially, but
No.
since then he's just fighting. Well, he tapped out.
Well, yeah, but
Or
in
he
this
didn't
match,
give up.
In
He's
this
still
match,
going on.
This match was a battle of wills. One man trying over and over to get the sleeper, and the other man trying over and over to escape. One man didn't give up, and the other man did. You know who gave up? John Cena, not Gunther. He did not quit, and he got the victory in the end.
I wrestled Gunther. I didn't tap.
Yeah, how'd he beat you?
I went out.
Yeah. You didn't give up, filthy. Good job. Honestly, you did have a better final match than John Cena. You went out better than he did.
You know what? Actually, Lillian Garcia, there's many parallels except for the fact that I won in my final fight in mixed martial arts, whereas John Cena went out as a loser in pro wrestling. But Lillian Garcia announced both of those matches.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that?
I wonder which one she has more fond memories of. Announcing John Cena in front of 19,000 people or announcing me in front of 19 people during COVID
Well, she was probably disgusted when he quit, so I guess your fight is one she'll look more fondly on. Well, anyway, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, Tom's going to do the NXT report. You can talk about Saya Kamatani if you want as well, before we get into that. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We got a big Elimination Chamber report here. And also Collision from Saturday, which actually was a pretty damn good show in its own right.
I was not told to watch Collision.
Vinny?
I forgot to text him Thursday night. I figured he'd be in bed. I said I'd do it tomorrow. And then Friday I bought a car. I was busy, and I've been forgotten. John comes out, looks into the camera, and says, "There's a vibe in here tonight."
Sure is.
I'll say. Punk's eyes are bugging out of his head. Seth is still there screaming, "Die, die!" And Seth gets his way. Punk dies. John Cena wins. I thought the finish of this was incredible. Great stuff.
God, Travis Scott. Jesus God almighty. This was exactly like when Hogan used to come to the ring, Dennis Rodman trailing him, and Dennis Rodman was like on another planet. He had no idea where he was at, stumbling to the ring. He had basically have to drag him down there. This Travis Scott was on another planet, dude.
Well, the first time he was on the show was on that Raw show. He was smoking a blunt in the audience.
They go from the hug to a shot of Cena's angry heel face, and they cut right to Rock On. And then he kicks him right in the balls. And the crowd freaked out. The John Cena turned heel. Hulk Hogan, he was getting booed before he turned. It was a risk, but, they were getting sick of the guy anyway. The problem with Steve Austin was he was the top babyface, and there was nobody to replace him when he turned. John Cena's been gone forever. He comes back. It's not like he was going to be the top babyface. They got 50 babyfaces. Cody's the biggest babyface they got. There's no risk whatsoever turning John Cena heel. He's 10 times more interesting now. The Cena and Cody feud is 1,000 times more interesting.
Travis hit Cody Rhodes in the face as hard as he could. I bet that sucked.
This was a big deal, and
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming.
You guys need to listen to Observer Live on Friday.
No thanks.
Because some dude called in, all bombastic and outrageous.
Do y'all think that John Cena is going to be the one that turns heel and joins The Rock as his champion?
No chance. And I shot him down. I laughed at him.
Wow.
I said it's not going to happen. John Cena's here to sell tickets and merch as a babyface for his last year. He ain't turning heel.
They need to make shirts for John Cena that just say, "Can you see me now?"
I got to apologize to old Dwayne. I thought that guy was out of his mind. He got me. This is awesome. I cannot wait to see where they go here. In the history of the Tokyo Sports Awards, no woman has ever won the MVP award. But
Until
unlike John Cena, the women never gave up, and they kept having great matches and great performances. And shortly after John Cena quit in his final match, Saya Kamatani became the first woman to ever win the Tokyo Sports MVP award. And she not only won the MVP award, she also won the Women's MVP award. So, congratulations to Saya Kamatani. There's a lesson here. It is actually never give up. And by never, I mean never. Not at the end. Tanahashi also won the Technique Award, which was nice. Knockout Brothers Best Tag Team. Ozawa and
Don't make me say it.
Kaito Kiyomiya from Noah, the New Year 2025 was the best match.
That was a surprise to me, because did we not have Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd just days after that as well?
That was an incredible match.
Although, I have you seen Ozawa in action?
I don't think so.
He's great.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean he's a star. He's young, he's athletic, acrobatic, flashy. He's got an aura. Yeah, Ozawa deserves an award.
Does he give up?
No, he just got injured and then he made a comeback recently.
Interesting.
So.
Takeshita Most Outstanding. So there you go. Hey, let's talk about this NXT show. We'll talk more about the awards tonight.
Let's do an NXT on the CW. We got a good 5 minutes of video packages and recaps showing us what happened on Saturday night's main event and NXT last week before Blake Monroe defended her NXT North American title against Thea Hale.
Actually, before we get to the match, the opening segment of this show was just like, they open with Javon in the parking lot, and he's all angry. And he wants to know where Ricky Saints is at. He's mad. And Ava shows up and says, listen, I don't even know if he's coming tonight. How about you just go into the building here? And he's like, no, I will not leave until I get my hands on this man when he arrives. And Ava goes, great start to my night. Rolls her eyes and walks in. And this would be fine because, yes, last week, Ricky attacked Javon and cost him the title against Obafemi, okay? However, since that time, Javon Evans has appeared on SmackDown, Saturday night's main event, and Raw. And on all three of those shows, he was in a great mood. He had matches. He was happy. He was all excited. But now it's like never happened. We're in another universe where he's been waiting in the parking lot for a week for this guy to show up, and he's furious. But he will not go inside.
Booker T and Vic let us know that NXT won at Saturday night's main event. They both agreed on this. That is not true. At best, they tied.
Yeah.
At worst, they lost, since Sol Ruka did win. Javon was on a losing team, and Obafemi, I believe, was DQ'd, technically. Maybe it was a no contest.
I think it was a no contest.
Anyways, we talked about this match earlier, but Theo was all over Blake in the opening moments. Blake locked in a triangle choke in the ropes. She got control of the match. She actually put on a Cobra clutch, but Thea fought on. Behind the adulation of the crowd, she didn't give up. They collided heads. Thea made her comeback. She hit a springboard senton off the second rope, crushed Blake with it. The ref counts 3 as Blake kind of gets her arm up after the count. And as you mentioned, time stood still. They try to figure out what's going on, what happens. Thea starts crying and running around the ring when she gets the belt. And then Mike Rome announces her as the new NXT Women's Champion, which is also untrue. And, despite there being no Laurel Van Ness, this segment was a hot mess.
I laughed when they showed a replay of the finish. And on the replay, Blake for sure kicked out after 3. But Booker watches it and goes, wait a second, this referee messed up. We need to get rid of these young rookie. Now the referees, you can't get a push when you're a young referee either. Now you get blamed for all of this. But she did not kick out on time. It was definitely late.
Well, Booker's in the bag for her, anyways. You know what I mean? For many of the heels. So
Booker did have the greatest moment on the show though later.
The culling was talking bad about Tatum before going to their assigned interview positions where they found this doll of Nico Vance. They left in disdain and confusion.
Yeah, they're sitting there, and there's a doll on the chair, of a Sean Spears doll, and the driver just goes, who would have done this? Like, who do you think, you idiot? And he's even said, duh, Tatum.
Ethan Page came to the ring. He was irate, rightfully so, after being randomly attacked at the hands of Tony D last week. He calls Tony D out, but instead, he's met by the TNA International Champion Stax, along with Ariana Grace. He says Ariana Grace wants more gold for Christmas. Ethan was not having it. And the crowd was actually with Ethan on this. Then Moose came out. And I guess we're getting a three-way.
A three-way?
What did they book here?
It's Ethan and Moose.
When?
They settled nothing. Not next week. It's a week after.
Why was Stax here?
They settled nothing with Stax or Tony D in this segment.
Well, Stax was around later on, too.
Well, they want a mixed tag, but instead, I'm pretty sure it's Ethan versus Moose in 2 weeks. And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's Shiloh Hill and Skylar Ray, who I have no clue who that is.
I don't either.
They were in the back commiserating in a happy manner. Stax and Ariana walked in. They told these LFGers not to talk to them. They walked up to them and said, don't talk to us. And then said they're winners. And next week they're going to teach them that NXT is different than LFG. That took place later on. Okay, we had OTM. They did indeed want to tussle with the tummy tanky.
Excuse me.
And Hanky as they took on the Belly Boys. I hate this gimmick. I'm so confused. I don't know what this is. I guess it's like an homage to Chris Farley. But Hank and Tank rubbed their bellies so much that the crowd was chanting for their opponents, the heels,
Yes.
OTM.
I don't think the fans...
As the baby faces beat them up.
Yeah, OTM I'm pretty sure are heels, but the
They're
fans
definitely heels.
chanted for them the entire match.
Yeah, because these guys are weebs. They showed up last week dressed in kimonos, trying to speak Japanese.
Why don't you explain to the listeners what a weeb is?
It's somebody who is way too into Japanese culture.
They're enamored with Japanese culture and anime, and that's exactly what these guys became after they had one tour of Noah.
Yeah, but now they're back in the jersey, Tanky. They put the jersey back on. Now it's time to fight, Tanky. Anyways, OTM did a sweet swinging double shell shock. Tank made a comeback, hit a nice swanton bomb. They sandwiched Lucian Price, but Nima made the save. They all collided, and in the confusion, Hank rolled up Price, and they snuck away with the victory in the big BK Have It Your Way replay worthy win.
I was watching this match just flabbergasted because they sent Hank and Tank on an excursion. They go to Noah. They win the GHC World Tag Team Championship.
They beat Takashi Sagura, Pride veteran, the man who kicked Giant Silva's head off in the middle of that ring.
And granted, they lost the belts, but still, it's like you went overseas, you went on an excursion, you won a world championship, and then they come back here, and it takes them 14. This was the longest match I've ever seen. It's the longest 14 minutes of my life. Just watching and going, how long is this match? Another commercial? How long is this going? And they barely eke out a win over these two guys. I was like, wow, way to get these guys over. At least they didn't beat them.
Well, OTM was over.
Yeah, the wrong team got over. Maybe they thought OTM went to Japan.
I do enjoy watching Hank and Tank wrestle.
Hey, did you see Takada just got the 4th stripe on his brown belt?
I did see that.
Yeah, from Hickson.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
How cool.
It was pretty cool.
There's going to be a speed tournament starting next week. Jasper Troy said destruction is guaranteed to whoever wins.
He just says it in such a way. Ava announced there's going to be another tournament, and she goes, we have a diverse group of talent. And Jasper goes, that's good news. But the bad news is, whoever wins, if they step into the ring with me, destruction is guaranteed. And there's a pause, and Ava goes, okay. And they cut away. I was like, wow. Way to get this guy over. This man not known for his speed, who was the speed champion. Explain that to the aliens when they come down.
Ricky Saints cut a promo surrounded by ringside security as the crowd was vehemently booing him. He badmouthed
It's a
Javon.
great promo.
Yeah.
I thought.
Ricky Saints, Ricky Saints, the Revolution is fantastic.
I thought this was
the
as
mic.
good as any top guy promo on the main roster.
He's great as a smarmy, cocky heel.
Yeah. I thought he was awesome here. He should have mentioned that John Cena quit while he was at it.
Anyways, Javon Evans ran out, broke through security. They got into a fight.
Yeah, how did Ricky get in the building? Javon was in the parking lot waiting for him. How'd he get in? And then once he got in, what took Javon so long?
Well, there was security there, but he did get through all of them.
Silly.
But more importantly, then he got beat up. He got laid out. He got put through the announce table with a Rochambeau.
Yeah.
And left laying
like
a geek.
Listen, I will defend this to a degree. Normally I would talk about how stupid Javon was, but in this, because I went and watched it again because I thought what you thought. I was like, God, what a freaking geek. But what they actually did was, when security was separating him, there were 4 guys holding Javon's arms behind his back, and then Ricky broke free and cheap shot at him while Javon had no arms. So they did try to protect him at least, which actually astonished me.
Okay. This is where Ava set up Chelsea Green taking on Sol Ruka next week.
Yes.
For the U.S. women's title, right?
Yes.
That's on the line. So now she could just make title matches for the main roster. Why not just have Cody Rhodes in the Iron Survivor?
She should have.
She could just put the titles on the line if she wants.
Sure.
Ridiculous. So we had Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair take on Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed. And
Kendall's awesome.
Yeah. Kendall Gray won this match with her team, with a flying armbar. The other members of, or I guess not the other members, JC Jane was on commentary throughout the match. She tried to interfere before this flying armbar. And at the next PLE, what is it, New Year's Evil?
Yes. I think
Kendall
that's actually,
Gray.
I think that might be a TV show, actually.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Kendall Gray will take on JC Jane for that NXT Women's title. And in the main event, we had a number 1 contenders match for a title shot. Leon Slater, Dion Lennox, Miles Bourne, and Joe Hendry. And this came down to Joe Hendry hitting a Widowmaker on Miles Bourne. Dion Lennox pulled him from the ring before he could win. And Leon Slater used this moment to hit his 450 Swanton bomb and pin Miles Bourne and earn the shot at New Year's Evil.
Place went nuts for this win.
Yeah.
They are dying for a young person to get a push.
Yeah, but you know what? Watching this, they're setting up not Leon Slater, not Javon Evans, but Miles Bourne to be the one who wins that belt.
Oh, yeah?
He keeps losing.
That is true. That is true. Losers get over. I'll talk about the best part of the match when we come back. Observer Live. Check out this free video and make sure you hit like and subscribe. Hey, listen, we're going to start with the real main event of the weekend. We witnessed with our own eyes Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean, with Dan Severn as the special guest referee. The worst match in the history of professional wrestling.
We all knew it was going to be a train wreck.
Oh, yeah.
I said, this is going to be a train wreck. I want to see this train wreck. I must see this train wreck.
I will give credit to Butterbean. Butterbean was very, very fat, and I don't think that he could walk. And he spent a lot of time with DDP.
Yes.
Did a lot of DDP yoga.
Yes.
And DDP literally got him back on his feet.
Yeah.
The entire first round is just like standing there. And the brawling's kind of like, and Suzuki like throws, he finally gives him a good one. How'd you like that one? So Butterbean falls to the ground by holding onto the top rope, squatting down a little, grabbing the middle rope, squatting down a little further, and then he lays on the ground. The crowd's chanting "Fight Forever," which sounds like a horrible idea.
Yes.
So the ring announcer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have just heard from the special enforcer, Dan the Beast Severn. He has ruled that the match is a double countout." And the fans are like, "What? Boo!" And they're all angry. And I'm like, this is the most ballsy match I've ever seen. I heard a rumor that Suzuki was talking to someone before the show about this match. And he was like, "This match, very bad." And the person was like, "Minoru, dude, it's going to be fine. Like, you can do this. You're great. This match is going to end up fine." And Suzuki said, no. That was it. Okay. And I got in just in time to see Minoru Suzuki versus the sex doll. And people were very upset that I did not refer to the sex doll by her name.
Yoshihiko.
I have great respect for the sex doll as a non-person because the sex doll is not a person. But there's a reason.
It's a doll.
There's a reason.
For sex.
Is he going to wrestle a sex doll and have a better match with a doll than he had with Butterbean? And the answer is yes.
Emphatically. The Butterbean match exposed the business much more than this match.
Yes, in fact it did.
The match with the sex doll was far more realistic. It was far more believable. It was far more credible. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating or making this up.
I gotta say, my favorite part of that show was undoubtedly when they were doing the ring entrances and Joe Hendry starts coming to the ring and Booker had a change of heart about old Joe Hendry. I kind of like that song, he says. And then he starts singing Joe Hendry's song. I was dying. There is nobody on the WWE, in all of WWE as a commentator, that is better at getting over the talent than Booker T. He's a total gimmick, and, like, he's a maniac, and he's certainly not everybody's cup of tea. But I'm telling you, if I had that promotion, he'd be on the main roster, because that guy can get stuff over.
He's like a modern-day Captain Lou Albano.
He is?
He's just screaming.
He's just out of his
mind.
mind.
Yelling random stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the stuff he says, like, it's like sometimes he'll just go off on something.
Should I said Reno Riggins?
Reno Riggins.
Wasn't that his name?
I also laughed at a spot earlier where it's during the OTM Hank and Tank match, and a car arrives, and somebody gets out, but we don't see who it is. And Vic goes, Booker, do you know who that is? And Booker goes, it was a Chevy. I don't know anybody that drives a Chevy. It's like, okay. You're anti-Chevy. At least we know that. But you're pro Joe Hendry.
It's not a luxury automobile.
We've got to get out of here, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'll be back later on tonight with Dave. Enjoy the show. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.